Hello, this is JT, and I'm going to judge this fight. I'm going to go with rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right up here, going to knock off one per round. There are 4 parameters: clean, hard punching, there's defense, there's ring generalship, there's effective aggression. We have Bivol here, we have Castillo here. So we're going to shrink that down. We're going to keep score right up here in between rounds. I'll try to keep it on a separate screen. Right here, 10-9 rounds. Bivol will be on the left, Castillo on the right. So that's how we'll keep track of this. We're going to go here. We're going to increase this. And we're going to start.
Okay, guys, I give you instruction in the dressing room. They're having a dream match. Okay. Good luck. God bless you. Está en TV. Tiempo de televisión, ¿ok?
So starting off, looks like Bivol is taking the center of the ring. Bivol is not throwing too much, and neither is Castillo. Bivol is moving forward. In terms of ring generalship, he's taking the center of the ring. Castillo is not lacking in aggression, though, even though he's a little bit on the back foot. Now Castillo looks to be trying to initiate the jabbing. And Bivol is got pretty good range. His footwork is good right there on the defensive side, staying away from Castillo's jab. Bivol is doing a good job of maintaining the center of the ring, although Castillo, when he wants to advance, looks like that if he puts a couple of jabs together, he can advance. Castillo is being a little inactive right now. Hasn't been tagged with anything. Neither fighter has landed a hard, clean punch yet. Again, Bivol is the fighter moving forward, measuring, seems to have Castillo moving in the direction that Bivol wants Castillo to move. So in terms of the majority of the round, here we are at a minute and 15. For 2/3 of the round, Bivol has been on the front foot for the most part. Castillo has been on the back foot. Neither fighter has put together an effective combination or even really a single punch yet. Bivol looks to be trying to land the jab first, which is usually the front door is the jab. And he seems to be initiating most of the action here. Although Castillo, when he wants to put 2 jabs or a right hand, left hand together, can advance. He just hasn't chosen to advance at this point. It's been Bivol that's been keeping track of the action here. So from that standpoint, unless things turn around in the first 30 seconds here, and we have to judge the whole round, neither fighter has had to exhibit great defense because there's been not a whole lot of action. Effective aggression, I mean, both fighters are pretty cautious. So with 10 seconds left, unless something spectacular happens, this looks like a even round in terms of almost all the parameters, but let's give the ring generalship to Bivol. So that'll be the deciding factor here. We'll put an X down for Bivol. And we'll call that for round 1 the deciding factor. So take a little screenshot of that. Bring this down. We're going to give that round to Bivol, who's the left-hand side here. And we're going to call this 9. So 10-9 so far. Let's take a look at what we have next. Bivol, again, looks like he can advance when he wants to. Castillo is standing his ground. So far, no advantage on ring generalship here in the first 30 seconds of the round. Castillo's holding his ground. Seems to have that right hand at the ready. Bivol is a little more active on the front foot. Castillo likes to put the 1-2 together, but without a strong commitment. So no hard punches landed yet. Bivol has not unloaded the right hand yet. Went down to the body once, I believe, in the first round. Castillo has some good range there. Exchange of jabs there, nothing really landed. Bivol has a wide hook that Castillo seems very aware that Bivol has a wide hook in his arsenal, and it seems to be quite willing to back away from that particular punch rather than stand in or catch it. Bivol is active with the jab, but hasn't committed to the right hand yet. And when I say active, at least he's moving his left hand, looking for an opening for that jab. And then he hasn't landed anything yet, but is trying to find the position where he can find an opening for that jab to land. Bivol is has not put together a double jab yet. They've all been singles. There's the right hand. There's the jab after the cleanup jab. Single jab there. Be interesting to see if Castillo understands that he's not winning this round and wants to put together something at the end. See if he can steal a round with a punch. That was the first combination that Bivol has thrown that landed. Castillo can be effective when he puts a couple of punches together in terms of stopping the forward momentum or forward progress of Bivol, but he just seems a little bit inactive here. Bivol is not doing too much, but in terms of being the more active of the two fighters, I'm going to have to give that Castillo is holding his ground right here and not retreating as he had in the first 2 rounds. He may understand here that he hasn't been active enough to win the rounds. He's been reactive, and now he's trying to put together a couple of punches. Just put a left hook, a long left hook above that after those 2 jabs, and that might be an effective weapon for him if he were to be more active with that. Bivol has one of the best jabs, comes straight down the pike with it. He's able to keep almost every fighter that he faces off him with the jab. Castillo has weapons and just landed right there. Shook the sweat off of Bivol's head there. Be interesting to see if Castillo uses that large frame and long reach to put together a couple of jabs and a nice right hand from distance. Just threw a feint right there. Bivol is doing a pretty good job of keeping him at bay with the jab. So it'll be interesting to see if Castillo has a long plan here to take Bivol into the later rounds and put together something else. Not much in terms of clean, hard punching. So as we go into round 3, defense, not a factor, not a factor. Ring generalship was it was pretty even. I mean, if I were going to give Castillo a round of the first 3, it might have been this one because he did land, I think, a cleaner punch. So from this standpoint, I could give Castillo a round here. Bivol did not do much. But this would just be on round 3. Both fighters have thrown the left hook over the jab. Neither one wants to commit to a strong right hand. Moving left and throwing the left hook over the jab can oftentimes be an effective way to avoid making a commitment to the right hand and still probe the defense. There's the hook again with a follow-up uppercut. The action seems to be heating up a little bit here. Bivol has not really unloaded the right hand with any strong effect here, but is a master at changing heights and changing the distance. He's been more effective at, if anybody has been more effective, he's been more effective at going to the body. He's thrown at least 3 punches down to the body, a couple of them jabs, maybe one right hand. There's a right hand again to the body. And Castillo, when he wants to stand his ground and put a couple of punches together, can. There's the right hand to the body. Bivol's thrown at least 2 right hands to the body at this point. Looks like Bivol has a little bit of swelling on on the left eye here. See if we can get a little bit better shot on the left eye. Hadn't seen anything land, but Castillo does have that long range. In the last 15 seconds, Bivol has done a very good job of moving Castillo into the corner. Didn't do much damage there, but did a very good job. And that would be my deciding factor on this if everything remains the same. So at this point, I'm going to go with round 4. Again, it's going to be ring generalship here for Bivol on round 4. That's going to be the advantage. And I'm going to base that on the last, let's say 30 seconds. And also the clean hard punching went so for round 4, we are going to put that in the box for Bivol. All right, bring it on back to the action here and we'll let it roll. I could give round 3 to Castillo. It's possible Castillo has a plan to come on strong, but it doesn't appear that he has a kind of knockout power. He hasn't shown any willingness to at least test out his knockout power. So if that's the game plan, you might want to get that started before you hit the halfway point of the fight, just to test it out, check your range. Bivol did land a right hand while I was talking there, just about at this point 30 seconds ago. So at about round 2, there's Bivol trying the right hand twice in the last 10 seconds. Be interesting to see if Castillo feels the urgency to return that kind of fire with his own right hand, just to get the respect of Bivol at this point. There's the right hand, but he missed it. And a little grin comes to his face. There's no doubt that Castillo has the range. He's just thrown 3 long jabs at range that could cause Bivol some problems. Bivol felt the sting of each one of those jabs, and maybe his eyes are showing a little bit of the puffiness even early on here in the 5th round. And there's Castillo staying in this fight, standing his ground when necessary. He's not backing off. Bivol has thrown, by my count, 4, now 5 right hands. He's landed, some of them have landed on the arms, but he has at least been active with his right hand here from distance, nothing in close. So in terms of clean, hard punching, this round is going to go to Dimitri Bivol unless something drastic happens in this last round. So let's bring this forward. We'll call this round 5. We'll go with a clean, hard punching with Bivol right here. I have Castillo winning a round. I'll call it round 3 if my memory serves. Okay, so after this round, it'll be the halfway point. Bivol is very effective with that jab against a taller fighter, up and down. That's a 2-point round right now. Ten-8 round at this point. Castillo doesn't seem to be hurt that bad. Where is that Castillo at the point just before he got knocked down? It could have kept Bivol off him, and I think it's a instructive point to say that if Castillo were more active during the beginning portion of this round, he might not have got knocked down. Bivol took advantage of Castillo not responding to jabs to put together a series of punches against a guy that has a longer reach than he does. And Bivol this is going to be a 2-point round for Bivol. It's obvious from the scoring here, the mandatory scoring of a 10-point must system, that we're just going to pause this a quick second here and make this 10 and make this one an 8-point round. So far we've got Bivol up. If anything, Castillo has shown that he can stay at distance without getting hurt if he's active. If he is not having a lapse in concentration. I mean, he's moving his head. He's standing his ground. There was a lapse in concentration that contributed to the knockdown. Let's not take anything away from Bivol's power, but it wasn't like Bivol had rocked him with a series of punches. It was something that Castillo was not prepared, maybe took the foot off the gas pedal in terms of keeping his hands up and having complete situational awareness. Bivol took advantage of it. And it's not like Castillo lacks for weapons. Castillo has the very good footwork. He has a better reach than Bivol does, and he's shown that he can land the jabs when necessary. And he's got a nice right hand and left hook follow. And if he were a little more active, as he is doing right now, with a sense of urgency, there's no reason why he couldn't put together these 3 or 4 factors that he has that are not far off of the level of Dimitri Bivol and steal another round here. But it's Bivol that just put together a combination, a 1-2-3, ended with a left hook to the head. Didn't land in spectacular fashion, but at least he's putting it together. Bivol just tried a counter right hand that missed by a bit. But when Castillo wants to be active, he can do it. Tech, 10 seconds left. I'm going to have to give this round again. Round 7 is going to go to Bivol based on at least a couple of cleaner, harder punches. Defense equal ring generalship, slight advantage to Bivol. And again, effective aggression. We haven't seen very much of that from Castillo. Would love to see a little bit more. So round 7, we're going to have to give that one again to Bivol. There's no doubt that Castillo could be a dangerous opponent for Bivol if he put it together. tall guy, but he's being out jabbed by the smaller man. He's got the longer reach. Bivol is not especially long armed. And just as shown there, if Castillo were to advance throwing a 1-2 with a cleanup hook, he could be closer in this fight. I would like to see that happen here, but it just hasn't happened. Where is that Castillo? Where are those weapons on a more regular basis? Putting together that combination and another combination and another combination, it's not happening. I mean, Bivol is winning these rounds based on the inactivity of Castillo. There is more activity by Castillo, but there are long punches that have come around the elbows of Bivol, but not landed. As he has in previous rounds, Bivol has done a pretty good job of going to the body to keep Castillo guessing about whether the punch is coming high or coming low. Bivol is very good at mixing his levels here and throwing high without giving an indication of whether that punch is going to come high or low. Castillo had a brief moment where he was a little more aggressive, but in terms of overall performance in that round, that round is going to have to go to Dmitry Bivol again. So let's just pause it here and I'm going to update round 8. There's not much argument right there. It'll be interesting to see if any of the judges gave round 8 to Castillo. So we'll check that at the very end. Again, Bivol is doing a very good job of keeping Castillo guessing about whether that punch is going to come high or low. Bivol has made a commitment to going to the body here, and that is something that might have surprised Castillo in terms of how much of a commitment each round Bivol has made to the body. That type of commitment does keep an opponent guessing about whether you're going to come high or low, and it can cause hesitation about moving forward. I mean, you have to decide whether you want to take a shot to the midsection. Where is this Castillo? Where is he in the first minute and a half of every round? It's not certain why it takes a minute and 30 seconds into the round to get a 15-second spurt out of Castillo. Bivol landing both high and low. Castillo not yet making a commitment to any sort of power shot that would put Bivol down. So some of the advantages are just sitting right there in the holster for Castillo. One thing that I haven't mentioned is that Bivol has done a very good job with his defense here, and his first defensive tactic is his feet. He is a master at this point of maintaining just the proper distance from Castillo. That is one of the reasons that Castillo hasn't been able to find any offense here, is because when he thinks he might have Bivol at a disadvantage, that disadvantage disappears completely. I'd have to say that round, ring generalship goes to Bivol. Effective aggression, it would be nice to see Castillo put out more than 15 seconds in any round. The defense here is going to go to Bivol. And as far as clean hard punching, Bivol went to the body at least twice, maybe 3 times, maybe even 4 that particular round. Bivol, and we're gonna call that wasn't even a close round. So round 10, this is the championship rounds. Let's see what happens here. I thought that there was some swelling with Bivol. It's not nearly as much as I thought it might be. And that's what's keeping Castillo at bay, is right there, that right hand to the body. So there are some weapons that Castillo has that are effective when Bivol decides to let that right hand go. There is that left hand hook over the thrown right hand of Bivol. He hasn't put it together as an offensive weapon. It's only been a counter. So it would be interesting to see what the judges say about round 8 as well as round 3. Those are the two that might have been swing rounds. And it's only because Castillo has been slightly more effective, more aggressive during those rounds than in rounds 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 10 so far. Seems to be, again, a Bivol rounds in terms of activity, although Castillo does have moments where he is the one that is advancing. It's just that the weapons have remained in the holster, based in part on Bivol's ability to command the distance, keep Castillo guessing about whether the next punch is going to land on the body. Bivol with a nice counter right hand there, and again making a commitment of going down to the unprotected body midsection, and that does provide a tremendous disincentive to advance at all times when you know you're going to get hit to the belly, as Castillo was in the last round. He took a nice shot to the body. So far, neither fighter has done a whole lot in this round to seize the rounds. Let's see if Castillo has any sense of urgency. He has to understand that he's down in this round, in this match so far. He hasn't done enough to win it 5 rounds of 10. And with that exchange, you can see that there is danger to Bivol if Castillo would engage. There was a nice right hand by Bivol in terms of effective punching. That might have. That was an even round in terms of ring generalship. I think that Castillo did a good job of standing his ground. He was a little more effective. I think Bivol and Castillo were equivalent on the defense. I think that Bivol landed the more effective right hand in that bout, but there wasn't a whole lot to distinguish this particular round. I'm off on my score on my ring count here, but round 10, I am going to, on the strength of the strong right hand, I'm going to give that round to Bivol. Although I would say that this is the closest since about the 8th round that Castillo has come to winning a round, and it's only because he was just a little bit more active in that round. And he was a lot more active in that round, but not enough to win the round. Didn't land anything clean or of real note. Let's get back to the action here. Let's see if Castillo has any sense of urgency here. That is a round that a judge, if he were or she were inclined, could give to Castillo. It doesn't look like Chris Mannix has given any rounds to Castillo. I've given a round to Castillo. Now Castillo is just giving, he's just giving ground away here to Bivol. That was not a good 10-second sequence for Castillo. He took his foot off the accelerator there in terms of awareness of the situation and had to retreat. Just took 2 left hooks from Bivol, nothing that was going to knock him out or cause any damage because his hands were high. But it is something that it's interesting that they weren't countered, because both of those left hands would have left Bivol open. Same thing with the right hand that Bivol just threw there. Castillo has a long left hook that's a counter hook that could have been released there, and it wasn't. So Bivol threw a right hand there, didn't land solid, but would have left him vulnerable to a left hook. Same thing right there. There was the counter right hand off of Bivol's right hand. It was give and go right there. Catch and shoot. Bivol again is doing a very good job of keeping the distance just right to stay out of danger from what could be a long right and left. There's an effective punch right there, followed up, and that's what Castillo is not doing. He's not being first, and he's not following up on damage. Right now, the more effective sequence in this round with 20 seconds left was Bivol's 4-punch combination right there. And now Bivol is doing a very good job of preventing any sort of offense from Castillo. Castillo has not been able to get anything generated there. So round 11, I'm gonna just have to pause that right there, bring that down, make sure that we are on round 11, and that's gonna be a 10-point round. That wasn't even close. Coming in, I have only the third round. Let's see what the judges end up giving as a final score here. Castillo has to understand that he's down in this bout and never put together any sort of urgency that would lead you to believe that he was going to make a commitment to letting go some of the power that I have seen would be a possibility here. So Castillo's game plan could have been just to survive the first portion of the fight without getting knocked down, which he was earlier in the bout. But he does have a solid right hand. It just was never released in rounds 6 through 11. Let's see if he can put together anything in round 12 here. Bivol has done a masterful job of maintaining the distance and not getting tagged. Let's see if round 12 with a minute and 30 seconds left is anything out of the pattern of this bout, which has been an excellent defensive, quietly defensive battle here by that's been won by Bivol and on the defensive side. Would like to see Castillo put together something here with a minute left just to test Bivol. So when Castillo wants to advance and move Bivol into a corner, I mean, it is definitely possible. It's not clear to me why that didn't happen. Looks like we have some ads coming up here. Not thrilled with the ads. The ads will not go away, and now they just disappeared. Nice defensive slip there. And Bivol's the one who comes up with the flurry at the end. That was an easy title defense. Exactly what the commentator said. So let's take a look at the. We're going to take a look at the official scorecards for that and see what they came up with. I'm going to take a minute here. Okay, so ready to create this scorecard. Let's see what we have here. $119 to 108. Let's see what BoxRec has. 119 to 108. 119 to 109. Make this a little bit bigger here. 119 to 108, 119 to 108, 120. There at least one judge gave a round. Let's see. Doesn't say exactly which rounds, but the scorecards look just right. So yeah, that was October of 2019. So that's this particular fight. We're going to stop the recording here. And our scorecard looked very, very much like the official scorecard of the fight. I gave 1 round to Castillo, and so did one of the judges. I'm going to guess it was round 3. It could have been round 8. There we go. Thanks for watching.